what I have done is nothing. Don't you get crazy on me. Put your pinky on F. Lay down your F chord. Now play the top two and play the bottom one. Now look through it. You can see that's all I'm doing. The top two notes of the chord. So C. This is F. Now C. Now B flat. And keep going back to F. I'm not going to write them all in for you. I'm not going to. And now where's your B flat? Now F. C. C7. So don't freak out. And again, if you saw that in music, you just read the notes and you wouldn't think it was a stupid chord. It's nothing but the F chord. Now,
bass. Bass.
Now the bass, yeah. I've done a little thing. Was never taught this by anybody except this one jazz piano player. I had my own music studio when I was 21. Students starting to get more and more advanced. I didn't know how to play chords. I mean, I was winning national championships and I did not know how to play chords. Everybody I asked, you know what they told me? Do it. Just do it. So I went to a jazz pianist and says, teach me how to play chords. And you know what he told me? Do it. Jeez. So, but these are the little exercises he put me through. You know, it's find the center of the song. He always called it the center of the song. And we right through the chords. He says, now start doing something with them. Well, he wasn't helping me any. So that's what I'm doing with you right now. I'm doing something with the chords. So, you listen to the original song, like I really came up with a cool one for Galway Bay. This is another very simple one to get the chords going, but the basses eventually get a little boring. The term he called it was layover. In other words, I'm going bass, chord, and I tag the last bass again. Here I. That's all, so don't get freaky and don't try to read it. Just whatever bass you're on, if you're alternating first, it's always the last one again. Because you now that you hear it, you hear bass players doing that all the time.
All the time.
You know, so look at the left hand. It's bass, chord, C, chord back to C, then C. G, then G minor, C. And you only do it at the end of the measure. Now, there are a couple of rules about how to lay it over, and I broke every one of them. What it is, you don't want two C's in a row, you don't want two G's in a row. But I wanted to get the method down first, get it under your hand. Because you'll find even very slow tunes, even like Somewhere My Love. There's spots where you can do that, it's called a layover bass. You're laying it over the bar line. So now, with that in mind, and this makes it very easy. G minor. And I can think the chord faster than I can read the thing. So now, you want to do that part or you want to do Hey Jude?
I'll do Hey Jude.
Okay.
You can have all the fun.
Now, what I did is I did totally write this one out. Remember Galway Bay, I only did a little bit of it. Because the chords repeated. This one, I wrote it out, coda and all. So there's no excuse. You do have a full duet on this. Of course, that second page doesn't have any notes on it, does it?
You're on your own, right? Figure them out.
That's the whole point. I'll only spoon feed you so much, guys. All right. So now, I'll do the hard part. Now, can you do the basses without thinking about it?
Probably.
Okay. We'll try.
You gonna do basses too?
I'll do them too. Okay. One. Now, you can play with the melody since we're not both on it now. Okay. 1, 2, 3. way me and Mark play, at this point, I would quit doing that style and come up with another style. Because always when you go to the bridge, you go to section 2. That's what I'm saying. The whole point is I'm showing you different methods. And I'm having to keep it going so that you can get it locked in your head. But you're not going to do it the whole time. Now, I've got letter B marked as measure 18. We just, right where we stopped, literally.
16, 17, 18 right there.
It's right on the F7. Yeah, right on the F7. Okay, now I'm going to take a combination of the that we did on Galloway Bay, and I'm going to intermingle it. So here we go. Right on 17. Ready, go. 18. The chords there.
It really works.
Getting the idea of how you accompany. It's true. Have some fun. All right, I'm ready for that one. Next one. We're doing good today already. Those are easy tunes. Now, we just kind of introduced you to let's get away from the bass chord game. You have got to learn this bass.
For sure.
More, even pop songs, rock songs, even the MASH we did at the beginning has this bass style. So you've got to get this to where it's just as automatic as your bass chord alternating.
Yeah, I don't even think.
You don't even think about it. I have written it out. If we do the old, I promise no counting exercises today, but we need to count this so you can see it. First of all, in the exercise on page 11, if that's just the left hand, if you look at it, it's all eighth notes. Okay, all eighth notes except for that quarter note on that. The second note's a quarter note. So if we start out counting all eighth notes, okay, between Mark's phone and Yesenia talking over there, I love it, all these interruptions here. I turn my phone off.
You have somebody to answer. No,
You don't need to get it?
Soon to be Will smoking over here.
Huh? All right. Sorry. Yes, we're live, and we're in a studio where I'm waiting for customers to come in. Usually somebody's interrupted us by now, right? Okay, the bass style, if you think all eighth notes, I'm going to go bass, chord, bass, chord, bass, chord. I'm going to go bass, chord, bass, chord. I'll alternate both times. So it's bass, chord, bass, chord, bass, chord. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to tie those two eighth notes together. Now, this is the one time we break accordion bass rule. You will hold that quarter note. You know, we've always told you short bass, short bass, short bass, short bass. You're going to go bass, bass, chord. And it seems stupid to alternate both in a row, but that's the half of the measure that gets the alternating, right? So if you're alternating first, like the next, do a C7th. C7th you'll alternate first, then you go C, G to C7. No, it's whatever would have been in that position for the alternating, you do it twice. Unless you end up 2 counts and the bass changes in the middle of the measure or something. So let's try this. Let's do just the basses. Ready? Go. Bass, chord, bass, hold, short. There are just all eighth notes down. Now change. Then B flat. Oh! Look at line 3, it's different. In reality, I put the quarter note in another position.
Yes,
So let's practice this one. All eighth notes, take the tie out of there. Right on the B flat. Ready, go. Yes, do it again. Ready, go. Bass, chord, bass, chord, bass, chord. Now, I didn't even alternate, did I? No, I made it real easy. No alternating, nothing. Now, let's do that measure plus the F. So start at letter B again. Ready, go. Bass, chord, bass, chord, bass. Now let's go put the tie in. It's gonna bother me without that tie. So pretend like it's a quarter note. Okay, ready, go. Bass, chord, bass, chord, bass, chord. Now. Keep going. Yeah. And that's another way you'll see that. And a lot of times I fall into that pattern without even thinking about it because it matches my right hand. You know what I mean? But still, it's that same.
It's
You
good
call it
better
a
than
Latin
no.
beat?
I mean,
What do you
I
call
would say Latin.
It's kind of a Latin beat. It's not a tango. It might be a bolero. It might be a cumbia. I'm trying to think of what styles you'd use it in. But you go to play a song and it'll just jump out at you that you have to play that style. Spanish Eyes is another one. Amor, I always use that bass. Amor, I use it. A lot of my Italian songs, I use it. So now look at Yellow Bird. If you tried to play Yellow Bird with straight basses, dead. Now listen to it with the stylized bass.
Huge difference.
Yes. Now granted, you're going to have to watch the vertical and learn where all the eighth notes and quarter notes and all hit. So the best example, look at measure 3. The third measure with that G minor and C7. You notice the first 2 counts of the measure are identical in both hands. It goes eighth, quarter, eighth. Then you're going to have the quarter while you go bass chord, the quarter while you go bass chord. So, I mean, you stop if you have to, do your little counting exercise, and you can make them line up. Now, look down at measure 9. That's where the letter B over there, bass kicks in. We're going bass, chord, chord, bass, chord. And now, you were playing with this earlier before we started. Let's do that measure 9. If you look at your right hand, it's a quarter note, then an eighth, quarter. The 2 eighths together are a quarter. Then an eighth, then a quarter at the end. That's a B flat, yeah. Okay, try it again. Ready, go. Now, the easiest way is go long, short, long, short, long. I'm sorry, if it works, it works. Now, you can't say that while you got your basses going, or you're going to be in trouble. So do the right hand again. Ready, go. Long. Now, let's see if we can put the basses with it. Ready, go. Just remember, that little B flat's going to get the chord. We're going to hit the chord again. We're not used to hitting 2 chords in a row. Try it again. Ready, go. I blew it. Try it again. Ready, go. Bass, chord, chord, bass. Now go to the next measure. That's F. Ready. Go ahead and put your chord. Treat those notes like a chord. Put them all down. Yeah, we don't have to think about it. Whenever you see a run, try to just make them a chord. Ready, go. Yeah. I'm game.
Let's go.
Now, before we play the melody, we're going to turn it into a duet. Okay, you've got a 2-page melody. That's what you want to do. We'll do one. Where'd you go? Oh, I didn't do a chord on this. Oh. Okay, I'm going to invent one right quick. I didn't write one out, but I did do it on MASH. This is the style I used on MASH. I found my chord, and I played a chord here when I played a chord there. So, the old chord, bass chord rule. So you play the melody, and I'll do the chords. Now, it's going to get hairy over here. Key of F, we've already done all our runs, all of our chords. Okay, I'm ready. Yellow Bird. Not too fast. Ready, go. Oh, that's kind of cool. Well, wait, I'm cheating in there. I'm not doing the chords in the right places, am I? Start back at number 9. I was continuing the same chords. I'm going to go bass chord. I'm going to follow the chord rules. Okay, ready, go. Oh, that goes back to no more. do the whole last line. Yeah. It's kind of like your little game of going up ahead. Where you do a half-step game. Yeah.
I'm not showing you.
Alrighty, we've been messing around now. We got another song out of the lesson which we got done. So I'm going to skip over mash right quick, and I want to go get the vocal boatman out of the way. All right, vocal boatman is nothing but your lower ledger lines that you don't like.
Oh gosh.
So quick review of the lower ledger lines. Remember last week?
Yes.
Line, F-A-C. If you can find the F, the A, and the C, you can find all the rest of it. Now, those of you who don't know vocal boatman, it says folk tune. It's an old Russian tune. It's about a guy pulling a barge. So you can imagine how strenuously he's pulling that barge. So the song has to sound strenuous, like you're really hard to do. So we got some shifts on this. We've got a middle and a low. We've got a lot of dynamics. Look at your crescendos and your...
I'm going to say a decrescendo.
It's diminuendo.
Diminuendo. Why?
There's no such thing as a decrescendo.
So don't ever call it that.
No. You have my fury. You put D in front of anything, it means the opposite. There is a word called diminuendo. All right. So we're going to just read this thing. Well, let's do this. Let's do the left hand first, because the left hand it's all holding, well, a couple lines of bass chord, but they're really kind of touchy. We've got an A minor, a D minor, then back to A minor. Second measure is the same way. Then a D minor, then an A minor. It's going to start the same way. Then it's going to go to D, back to A, then it's going to go to E7. This is a good test of reading your left hand. Then D minor. Now the next line is going to use the counterbass. Now don't get freaked out.
I'm just curious, is that a typo or teach me something I didn't know? If the first beat of the second measure, that A, does not have a little M on it.
If it doesn't change, you never have to remark it. Okay. Bottom line, remember you notice he only puts the minor or the seventh the first time it occurs. If it doesn't happen, if the bass doesn't change for 17 measures, he never writes it again.
Okay.
Why have all your music going M? That's why.
Okay.
Yeah. Now look at line 2. That's the other way to write C bass, and that is C. Because look, find your D up there in the other line. Sure enough, C is the next note down. So don't get freaked out when you see that and try to play an E, because I do all the time. So that's just C7. Take your 4 across the counterbass, then F, then your C7th F. Yeah. That's it. There's no new basses. That's it for the whole song. Here we go. Now we're going to be pulling a barge. And the first time we're going to play it real soft. Second time we're going to play it medium loud. Okay, ready, go. Big phrase. The second time we can be louder. Now I want to hear a bigger phrase. Remember, you can crescendo under a phrase. There you go. Now right here, I always had the hardest time keeping it slow. Well, at least it was a straight line. We didn't have to worry about those ledger lines. F, then C, back to A. Next 2 measures are identical. F, now C7, back to A. Now D minor. Remember, you're still pulling that barge? Crescendo. Don't get too soft too soon, or you're going to be playing nothing. It's still real soft. Tardando. Octave. Now leave your notes down.
What a
Stop your
depressing
bells.
song.
It is.
I mean, really.
It's the poor man in Russia pulling that barge to feed that family. So, whenever you're out and you're playing a gig or something, you're playing for your family or whatever, and you see somebody trying to move something, you go, and they'll know exactly what you're doing. The whole purpose of that song is the lower ledger lines. And the lower ledger lines. Yep. So now, we're through with the book. We can get back to MASH. We got about 10 minutes left, guys, and this is Mark's favorite song.
It's a good song.
He likes it. In fact, you've already announced you're going to play it at the next club meeting, aren't you? Now, we're hoping to have enough time today, too. We're going to do page 2 of Champagne Polka. If not, I gave it to you, so you can start working on it. Just start in the middle of the page. Don't do the top of the page, the middle of the page. Now, MASH. That's exactly, look at the chord structure I gave you as far as accompaniment. Look at the left hand. Bass, chord, chord, alternate, alternate, then you. Now this one I did avoid. Repeat. Bass chord, bass chord, bass chord. Yeah! I've been doing all the chords. You get them now. What I did on this one, every time there was a chord change or a structure that I felt needed to be done, like look at the measure before 12. I did a little run. So I went, wait. Yeah, the others are just rolling the chord. But I did a little run there. Okay. And you'll start hearing those kind of things when you're doing chords. So if you want to, can you stick kind of close to it? Where'd the melody go? Where'd we put MASH? Oh, I'll put it over here. We're only going to do a page at a time. There's no way we can have it out. So now, let's review the right hand as far as the chords. I'm following the chord on the first 2 counts. I'm going bass, then I'm rolling it, then bass, then bass, chord. Next one's F, so go back to your F. Pinky's, it's key of C. Okay, 5's on C. Then back. Oh, remember we're gonna roll it. I'm rolling from the bottom up right now, but yes, you can get inventive. Then that's that same G minor we had at the beginning. Going here. I go one direction, you go to the other. Okay, I'm going to go slow. I don't want to go fast because this is like we did at the beginning. So I got the melody now. Okay, ready from the beginning. 1, 2, 3.
Roll.
Roll. We're rocking and rolling. Blocking and rolling. Ready? 2, 3, 4.